Developed and published by Ubisoft, Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc was released in 2003 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube and PC. Unlike the previous two Rayman games, all versions of Rayman 3 are pretty much identical, so although this review is based on the PlayStation 2 version, it can apply to any version of the game. The game starts off straight away with cutscenes showing the beginnings of the game's plot. The evil black lump Andre has run amok, turning all the friendly red lumps into the villainous black lump. These lumps have the power to transform into the main enemies of the game, the Hoodlums. Later on, Globox accidentally swallows Andre. From there, Rayman is sent on a quest to take Globox to a doctor that can remove Andre from his body.
Well, let's see what we have here, if you don't mind.
That's the basic story, but it does unravel and become more dynamic throughout the course of the game. It's not a bad storyline, but of course, we don't play platformers for the storyline, do we? The characters are cool too. Only a few return from Rayman 2, and when they do, they make brief appearances. But the new characters are nice additions.
Unimaginable powers, dude.
I'm going to say now that one of the best parts of Rayman 3 is the humour. Some of the cutscenes are just hilarious. The game's extremely self-aware, which just adds to the humour.
The manual! It's all in here. If you read the story, you'll find your way out.
Also, I just love the relationship between Rayman and Globox, and even Andre. Seriously, it's like a buddy comedy, and I love that.
Music, where are you?
Shut it!
Rayman has remained largely the same as he did in Rayman 2 in terms of his appearance and his abilities. His voice actor David Gassman returns again and does an excellent job of bringing the character of Rayman to life. On that note, all the voice acting fits very well in this game. I mean, it's not a great deal better than in Rayman 2, but it just fits the style of this game more. But anyway, the best thing about Rayman this time is that he can shoot his fists again. No idea why they took that out of Rayman 2. And this time he can shoot both his fists and curve them to his needs. You'll find yourself doing that a lot in this game, but we'll come to that later. Firstly, the most important thing, his victory dance. He doesn't do much. It's just getting worse as time goes on. So this game doesn't feature a world map or any type of hub system for that matter, whereas the previous two both had similar hub worlds to each other. In this game, you complete a level, you proceed to the next, that's it. Now there's no problem with that at all. Only downside is that there's no longer side levels that branch off from the main ones, which is a slight shame. You can select to replay levels though if you wish from the main menu, because of course, this game features the hidden cages that we've come to know and love from the Rayman franchise. And they're in more difficult places this time, so you'll be likely to miss some if you don't check every nook and cranny. They also give you a nice max health bonus if you find enough of them. Unfortunately though, this game does not feature the yellow lumps from Rayman 2 as collectibles, which was one of my favourite things about that game. Instead, this game has a scoring system where you have to collect as many jewels in a level to earn the highest score. The more jewels you collect in succession, the higher your score. I suppose it does add another level of challenge to the game, but personally, I found the system to be rather tedious. It is worthwhile though to try for high scores, as it unlocks a bunch of extras such as 2-player minigames and some funny videos. The levels in this game run through different themes: forest levels, snow levels, fire levels, etc. But all feature a good mix of platforming and combat. Especially combat. There's much more fighting this time around. The great thing about the levels in Rayman 3 are that they are much larger and more involving than seen in Rayman 2, and a single room can take you a very long time to clear. Some of these rooms involve very slight puzzle elements, which I always welcome. The game's graphics and art style also contribute massively to the look and feel of the levels, and most of them are very bright, colourful and cheery. But a Rayman game just wouldn't be a Rayman game without its eerie levels, but those are great too. The gameplay remains relatively unchanged from Rayman 2. The platforming is pretty much the same, although the controls are slightly tighter and more fluent, to be expected from a sequel. The combat is similar to Rayman 2, where you'll have to lock onto enemies, dodge their attacks and fire yours when possible. However, this time the enemies are a little smarter, and they'll dodge your attacks unless you curve your fist around their weapon. This is fun at first, but for some enemies this is the only way to beat them, and they'll never change their pattern. Other enemies will have different, more complicated patterns, but again, once you've found out what it is, you'll have no problem with that type of enemy for the rest of the game. Throughout the game, you run into these little power-up can things to give Rayman a bunch of different temporary powers that range from lasting from 3 seconds to about a minute. These power-ups are placed in just the right places to give Rayman a helping hand in platforming sections as well as combat, and they do a good job in mixing up the gameplay. Not only that, there are also sections of the game that briefly take you out of the normal gameplay and change it up completely. These sections of the game are great and they help the game from feeling stale. Even without these sections though, the diversity in the levels alone helps Rayman 3 constantly feel fresh, and that's great about this game. I mean, there's even a stealth section. Rarely is there a dull moment, although I suppose one can argue that there's perhaps a little too much samey combat. In terms of difficulty, there's not a great deal of it. It's harder than Rayman 2 for sure, and you may occasionally find yourself dying a fair few times, but the game is so forgiving with checkpoints etc. that you'll never get stuck or frustrated. The boss battles in this game are also fun for the most part, and each one feels different from the last. There's also a good amount of them, although some seem to come about very randomly without much warning.
Let's give him a warm welcome!
The music in this game is okay. It's good, but there's not many tracks that are extremely memorable, which I think the first game did exceptionally well. But hey, that might just be me. Overall, I'd describe Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc as a perfect blend of the first Rayman and Rayman 2 The Great Escape. It features the great 3D platforming gameplay from Rayman 2, along with the colourful, light-hearted, humorous nature of the first Rayman to make what is an overall an excellent game. I must say though, that this is personally my least favourite out of the 3. Not to say that this game is bad though, all 3 of them are just as good as each other, and this definitely may be your favourite Rayman game. This game is highly recommended for fans of previous Rayman games and fans of 3D platformers. If any of you modern gamers don't have a 6th gen console, luckily the game has been re-released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 under the title Rayman 3 HD, which I haven't played, but I'm assuming is the same game, just with updated graphics. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed another Rayman review. Please subscribe for more gaming videos and another Rayman review coming very soon.